The crystal glass shattered against his shoulder, and $70 wine dripped down his thrift store jacket as the entire restaurant erupted in laughter. But what they didn't know was that the man they just humiliated owned the building they were standing in, the cars they drove, and in exactly 48 hours, he would own their futures too. His name was Marcus Chen, and tonight, he was nobody. 3 weeks earlier, Marcus had made a decision that would change everything. He would walk away from his penthouse, his tailored suits, his army of assistants, and live as the invisible people do, the ones his wealth had made him forget existed. He wanted to understand struggle before he invested another billion. So he rented a tiny apartment in the city's forgotten district, took a job washing dishes at Marcello's, the 5-star restaurant where the elite came to be seen, and he waited. And tonight, they gave him exactly what he came for. It started when Victoria Hastings walked in. Old money, new cruelty. The kind of woman who measured human worth by the price of their watch. She was there with her circle, 6 polished predators in designer everything, celebrating a business deal that Marcus knew, because he'd quietly torpedoed it that morning through one of his shell companies, was about to collapse. But they didn't know that yet. They were loud, drunk on power and wine, and when Marcus approached their table to clear plates, Victoria wrinkled her nose like he carried disease. "Do you even shower?" she said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. Her friends snickered. Marcus said nothing, just reached for her plate, but her boyfriend, some trust fund brat named Damien, suddenly stood, blocking him. "Did she say you could touch that?" Damien's voice was ice. "I'm just doing my job, sir," Marcus replied quietly. "Your job?" Victoria laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Your job is to be invisible. You're ruining our evening by existing." The restaurant had gone silent now, every eye on them, but not one person spoke up. Not the other diners, not the manager who Marcus knew was watching from the bar, too afraid of losing Victoria's family's business to intervene. Damien leaned closer, his breath reeking of wine and entitlement. "You know what people like you are? Mistakes, speed bumps on the road to people like us." That's when Victoria picked up her wine glass, and with a smile that could cut steel, she poured it over Marcus's head. The red liquid soaked through his hair, his shirt, pooling at his feet like spilled dignity. The table exploded in laughter. Someone filmed it. Someone else applauded. And Marcus just stood there, dripping, silent, his eyes locked on Victoria's. "Oops," she whispered. "Send me the cleaning bill. Oh wait, you probably can't afford to own clothes worth cleaning." They left 20 minutes later, still laughing, leaving a 5-cent tip on a $300 bill. Marcus finished his shift at midnight, went home, showered, and made 3 phone calls. The first was to his attorney. The second was to his chief financial officer. The third was to the owner of Marcello's, who nearly fainted when he realized who had been washing dishes in his kitchen for 3 weeks. By morning, the news hit. Victoria's family company lost its largest investor, a mysterious fund that pulled $800 million in backing. Damien's trust fund vanished overnight when his father's offshore accounts were suddenly audited by authorities who'd received an anonymous, meticulously detailed tip. The restaurant manager who'd watched Marcus get humiliated was fired and replaced with someone who'd been homeless 2 years ago, given a second chance. And Victoria's phone started ringing with a message she'd hear 17 times that day. "Miss Hastings, this is regarding your outstanding loan. The new owner of your debt is requesting immediate payment in full." By week's end, Victoria was sitting in a lawyer's office, across from a man in an expensive suit who slid a folder across the table. Inside was a single photograph, Marcus in his dishwashing clothes, wine-stained and silent. Beneath it, one sentence: "I bought your debts, your reputation, and your future. Consider the wine repaid." She never learned his name. She never needed to. Some lessons don't require introductions, only consequences.